Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality back here today. I figured this is something that I wanted to talk about for a while, or at least I've been thinking about for a while, so I'm going to do a series of videos on this particular subject and break it down a little further in each separate video. And I'm not going to be able to provide all the examples of this because there's a lot, but what I wanted to talk about was essentially woke storytelling and why it doesn't work. So that's kind of the basis of all the next series of videos, and all of them will have the same basic title, so you can find them pretty easily, and I'll probably end up putting them in a playlist so that they're just easier to listen to back and forth. But I did want to go ahead and start with one of the most common tropes for woke storytelling and why it doesn't work, and that would be the unstoppable female hero. So that's also known as a Mary Sue. So for anybody that's never heard that term before, and there is a male counterpart to that, it's called a Gary Stu, but the Mary Sue is a far more prevalent thing in movies today, especially in the last 5 or 6 years or so. And it's generally, again, a female character that is essentially perfect. She doesn't do anything wrong. She doesn't do a hero's journey. She starts off the movie, has everything she already needs to defeat the final boss, if you will, the villain at the end. And by the end, she's exactly how she was at the beginning. Nothing's changed. So some examples I thought about this, reference were the character of Rey Skywalker from the Disney Star Wars movies, and Captain Marvel, specifically from her own standalone movie, the one that happened between the two Avengers films. First, since I never saw the Captain Marvel movie, I've seen clips of it, so I don't have as much authority to speak on that, though I am familiar with the comic book character from the comics. I will speak about the Rey character as, I did see, not Rise of Skywalker, I haven't seen that one, but I did see The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. So I remember thinking when I was watching The Force Awakens that the character of Rey just didn't seem to do anything wrong. And I didn't know what I was watching at the time. I just kind of was like, okay, she knows how to fly the Millennium Falcon right off the bat as soon as she gets into it. She tells Han Solo how to fix his own ship, essentially. She knows how to fix it. Again, she's never observed or been in the ship. Okay, doesn't know anything about it, but knows how to fix it. She knows how to use the Force right away without a problem. And when she gets in the lightsaber fight with Kylo Ren, who's the big bad of the Disney Star Wars things, again, for people that don't know, she beats him. And that was kind of the thing that made me go, wait, what? This untrained novice or beginner somehow knows how to beat this guy who's an expert. And I mean, anybody who could, especially with the lightsaber duel, anybody could tell you that, if you have never fenced, which is the closest thing I can think of to a lightsaber fight in the real world today, if you've never fenced in your life and you were to pick up a fencing sword, if that's what they're called, I don't know anything about fencing at all, and take on an Olympic level fencer, someone that's medaled at the Olympics or just been there, because that's the best of the best, you'd get your butt handed to you, hands down, no question. And before people out there are like, well, wait, these are Jedi and Sith, and they have space wizard powers and stuff. Again, she's a beginner. He's an expert. There's literally no way she should be able to win this fight. So, and of course, going through the whole movie, she basically beats everybody. She comes through practically no trials. She doesn't really grow as a character. She started off this way and she ended this way. So, there's another point that will be brought up in another one of my videos, which is about relating to perfect characters that absolutely nobody can, which is why people tend to not really like these types of movies, because you can't relate to perfection. Not to get religious, but there's literally been one perfect human being that has ever existed, and it's not Rey Skywalker, even in fiction. So it just, the unstoppable female hero thing doesn't work. So I'm going to stop there for that part and use an example that's just a general thing that we've seen throughout storytelling for the entire history of storytelling being a thing. That you've seen dozens, if not hundreds of movies that use this same basic trope, and we're going to bring in why that kind of thing would not work in the woke environment today, using this specific example of the unstoppable female hero. Okay, so the trope that I'm referring to is the typical prince rescues the princess sort of thing, and they live happily ever after. So that's your basic thing that you're starting your story with, is just prince rescues princess, they live happily ever after. So if we're using the unstoppable female hero thing, it seems like we're going to have to switch that around to a princess rescuing a prince. Okay, which even most women don't want to see that. Okay, so right off the bat, you're starting off your story with something that just doesn't work for audiences. It's not something they want to see. You're not going to get men to go see a story where it's like, hey, do you want to go see this movie where, you know, the woman rescues the manzel in distress, if you will, from the evil villain sort of thing? And most guys are going to be like, no. And a lot of women are going to say the same thing. They're going to say, no, that just sounds kind of weird to do that, you know? So what, like, it just doesn't make sense to me about why you have these heroes here, and, you know, like the female heroes that are unstoppable. And again, even then, like, you have the female character would come out and just be like, again, at the beginning, she knows everything. She's learned everything she needs to know by the time the movie starts. And by the time the movie ends, she's still the exact same character that she was at the beginning. She already knew how to beat the villain. So it's like, there's no drama in that. There's no drama in her getting to the end of the movie, the novel, TV show, whatever you want to say, and her being like, all right, I did the thing I said I was going to do at the very beginning, and I never doubted for a second that I did it. Like, what do you, like, okay, like, I wasn't into that, you know, whether you're a man or a woman and you're watching the movie or whatever it is, we'll just keep using movies. Like, you're not going to be sitting on the edge of your seat like, oh my God, what's going to happen? You're going to be like, yeah, I already know she's going to win because she's perfect already. Okay. And if it was a male character, if it was that Gary Stu that I mentioned earlier, it'd be the same thing. Be like, there's no drama in this. He's going to win. That's it. We're done. Like, so how do you get drama out of that? How do you get drama out of knowing how the story ends when it starts? And that's why I think, like, having the unstoppable female hero thing doesn't really work. I mean, how many movies have been put out? And I only named Rey and Captain Marvel as two characters. I mean, there's been many other examples of unstoppable female heroes. And I mean, you could even say that you could even take this trope to a level of, like, seeing small women beating up men that are literally 2.5 times their size. Like, you have, you know, the average woman's 5'7", maybe weighs figure a 5'7" woman that weighs like 120 pounds and is in reasonably good shape, you know, and if she's going up against like, using the prince and the princess example, the people that would be knights, let's say, are going to be generally larger. They're going to probably be, you know, maybe 6 feet tall, 200 pounds. I mean, that's twice her size essentially, and she'd be beating the crap out of them. That just doesn't work. Okay. And I don't really have much to say about that without going into some of the other topics that'll be mentioned on subsequent videos about the same topic. So I just wanted to mention that to start here. And if I started going through the other ones, this video could end up being like an hour long. So I'll stop there, let you guys sink your teeth into that one a little bit, and definitely let me know what you think about the unstoppable female hero trope. And also you can use my example of the prince rescuing the princess as just a general sort of guideline, and we'll expand on that as we go into other videos. So just wanted to go over that, and thank you. Like, share, subscribe. Talk to you later.